I'm Bryan Kennedy from BioBuzz Networks. We're filming live at CIC Vendor Showcase here in Philadelphia. Today, over 30 vendors will showcase their services and technologies to help foster innovation and growth in the Philadelphia ecosystem. Today, I'm here with Donna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. I think the first place we want to start is, how did you fall into this industry, and how are you now, Persephoni, sort of walk our viewers through the evolution of your career to date?
Sure. So I think, like many people, it happened by accident. I was not planning to work with startup founders. So at Persephoni, we are a venture studio, and we work with early stage startup founders. If you told me at 20 years old that's what I would be doing, I'd be like, what do you mean? What is that? But I have a career in clinical research and then drug development. So I have worked at big pharmaceutical companies as a clinical scientist, and then held various roles of responsibility over time. And about 10 years ago, I joined my first startup. I was recruited by somebody I admired and had worked with before, who was the CSO. And it seemed really fun, and it seemed like a change. And I wasn't really sure how long it would last, but it was a solid 5 years. It's kind of like I didn't know how much I was going to learn or how important that experience would be. And that was, I guess, the road to how I got here.
Now, how does your background and your interests, what did that make you join Persephoni?
Yeah, so I think I was employee number 20 at a startup. I really resonate with the work and the humanity when people are rallying around at the earliest stages to try to do something really meaningful to them. And there's a lot of energy behind it, but it's very hard. And I was very naive about how hard that process would be, because I had a lot of industry experience by the time I did that. So I didn't know that I would like it, because it is very hard. It was like a learning process. But in retrospect, you're like, wow, actually, I don't know if I'd ever want to really go back to a big company after working in that way. And then ever since, I sort of found a path with people doing that. So it's just really fun to work with early stage startup founders and see what they're doing, and using my backgrounds and skills coming from big pharma, because it's a bit varied and I have a little bit of a wider range of things, so I can work as a generalist with specialists and help them along the way, which is really fun.
What's your favorite part of helping small companies right now?
Let's see. So I do a lot of things. I'm very relational, and I'm the chief operating officer, so I do a lot of operational things. But I love being a sparring partner. I love thinking through the problems. It's like a mental game. So a lot of times people are very stressed out. I'm stressed out. We're all trying to do something very hard. And it's working through that together and sort of problem solving. There's always a problem to solve. Every single day there's like something that pops up, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? So I love being part of that support team and critical thinking, to be like problem solver mode with like a group of people. Again, it's something I would not have predicted that I like, because I feel like I'm like a type A, very like stability, but that is not a startup environment at all. And our day to day is just like a testament of that. We're just like, where do I need to be? What do I need to do? And that can be very fun with the right people.
So, working at a venture studio, what has been your biggest learning lessons to date?
Oh my goodness. I would say my lessons have come back from being an early employee at a startup, where again, it's all about like the humanity. Everybody's trying to solve a problem, but you're actually like, it can be like very emotional. And even if you think you're stoic and you're not emotional, I mean, I'm a feeling type of person, so I like people, but it is for everybody, because you're doing something very hard. There's a lot of pressure. You don't have as much resources. Everybody's trying to do a lot with little. You're always under a timeline crunch, especially if you have investors who want certain milestones to be met. So for the venture studio, it's just like an extrapolation of that. It's like actually now like a calmer version of me being able to use that stress to be like, okay, it's going to be fine. And to just kind of help put it into perspective, because I know from before how to think through that and work through that. Again, mentally as much as problem solving, but also just like it's the ride. It's like, this is part of it. Like, you are never going to know. You should be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that is a skill as much as any other science or any other skill that you would develop doing a job.
And how do you envision Persephone's studio ventures really evolving over the next couple of years?
I am really excited to see how so I'm from Philadelphia, and I love the idea that we were in the middle of the CIC in the building with all of these cool people around, and how we're going to probably see people someday. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I remember when you just started, and now look at you. Like, I love the feeling of helping people. So hopefully the venture studio will grow, and we will help people who have devoted their lives to creating therapeutics and important things for people, and it's really important to them. I feel like, oh my gosh, I got to be part of that person and help them make good decisions, help them manage the stress, help them find the resources, and then, offer that back to people here just right around us. Like, we don't ever really know who's going to come to us, but I have a lot of optimism that we will get to work with really fun people and help them and be part of their journey. And I look forward to just meeting, like, one of the things of other jobs is you just meet the coolest people doing the coolest things.
And so you guys just opened an office here in CIC and in the center of U City Square. How is that going to benefit Persephone over time?
So I think we look at it as how Persephone can benefit others and not necessarily ourselves. But we were talking earlier about like the vibe here. I think there's like a contagious energy when, even if you don't know people, you're a camaraderie about, I get that you're doing something hard too. And we're coming to the same place today where everybody's sort of in that early stage. So even though I am not an early stage founder myself, remembering how it feels to work with early stage founders and being around them with that excitement and anxiety. And it's a lot of hard work, but doing it together feels really good. So hopefully we can be a resource for people and they can talk to us. I always, I'm open for a chat with people to spar with them or think through problems, whether we're working with them directly or not. So I feel like just being around one another, you should have resources around you. People are really nice here, by the way.
A very contagious ecosystem, very collaborative, focused. I think, just being here in the center of Philadelphia, you are from Philadelphia. Where do you see those core advantages of Philadelphia, but then also where do you see some of the challenges of the ecosystem, and how does Persephone help address some of them? For example, funding, people always talk about.
Of course. So yeah, I'm totally biased, but I do think that even I was surprised to learn at how much is going on in the cell and gene therapy. And I knew that already, but just the amount of great ideas and work coming out of the systems, or so the school systems, the hospital systems, the incubator systems, places like CIC, places like Wistar, like just the incredible amount of knowledge here and the potential for that to go. So we will be somewhere in the chain, right? So helping to shepherd along. Fundraising is always a challenge. It is a constant worry. I'm worried about that today. I'm worried about that right now talking to you because I'm always fundraising in my mind for companies that we're working with. And so it's always like, how do you get more investors here to Philadelphia? Because we need you and we want you. And like, there are so many wonderful startups here that could benefit from more interest from the investor community, because I think you have the talent and the knowledge.
Yeah, and then, a lot of Persephone, you guys have a really strong leadership team. Was that really attracting you to join there?
That is actually, I did not, yes, that is absolutely the number one reason. I was interested in doing this, but I wasn't necessarily looking to be taken in the way that they welcomed me. So that was a nice surprise. But it is a shared mission and vision and alignment over values. I think that I was like, wow, okay, we are really in sync about this, which is difficult to find. And I feel super lucky. Like, it's stressful as a job because there's just a lot to do, but it doesn't feel like a job because people I get to work with are amazing. And it's just like fun to be around them. They're super smart. They're really caring. and they're really pumped about like doing what we do. So you can't help but just be like, yeah, even though you're like, oh my God, like it's going to be like a 14-hour day today. But like everybody I get to meet is like just one more interesting person. So yes, they are the exact reason I joined.
Well, I look forward to following you guys this year, and I really appreciate you joining us today.
Well,
Thank you to our sponsors, CIC and UCD Square, as well as Persephoni BioPartners for sponsoring these interviews. I'm Bryan Kennedy from BioBuzz, and thank you for joining us.